like to call to order the regularly scheduled Sylvania Township Trustee meeting for November 18th at 6 p.m.
Call the roll. Mr. Crandall.
Here.
Mr. Mahoney. Here. Mr. Genowine.
Here.
Simple. Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes for the November 5th meeting. Anybody have any changes or?
I'm good.
I'll move approval.
Second. You'll call the roll. Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney. Yes. Mr. Genowine.
Yes. Do we have any additions or deletions?
No, I'm done.
Hearing of the public, is anybody signed in?
They signed for a non-agenda item, and I think it would be appropriate under public works.
Okay. And then at this point then, do we want to jump the fire department in front of the public works department?
We can move the fire department up to the first item. Chief?
We are here tonight to recognize one of our retired firefighters, recently retired firefighters, Greg Burkhart. I worked with Greg for many years here on the fire department. Great firefighter, great friend, and a special kind of guy. And I'm congratulating him on his retirement. And we have a plaque for you from the fire department. You were appointed October 30th of 1995, and you retired September 6th, 2014. And we wish you well in your endeavors, Greg.
I don't know how long my voice is going to hold out. I've got laryngitis, which is probably good for you guys. I'm giving my report tonight, but I also would like to congratulate Greg for his years of service. And also his wife, Michelle, because the wives are the unsung heroes of the firefighters. They're the ones that get all the stuff when we come home in the morning and have to put up with all the stuff that we give them about what's going on here and who stole our ice cream from another shift or whatever's going on at the fire station at that time. But I would like to also recognize Michelle because she had the journey with Greg also during his time on the department. A symbol of firefighters is always our helmet. Our helmet is something that protects us, keeps us safe. We all decorate our helmets in different ways, and a lot of us have personal pictures that we carry in our helmets when we go to a fire with the family, just to take our families with them. So families are very important to us. I'd like to present this helmet to you, Greg, for your faithful years of service to the fire department.
Have fun. Enjoy. So far, so good.
Congratulations. Best wishes.
Thanks.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
You want to say something, Greg?
He's a man with so many words.
Yeah. How much time you got?
I would just like to say thank you. It has truly been an honor and a pleasure to serve the Sylvania Township community. I started in Waterville as a volunteer, and I knew right away I wanted to be a full-time firefighter. Went through paramedic school, went to Perrysburg, spent a few years in Perrysburg on their fire department full-time, and met my wife. She lives up here, and I realized I didn't want to drive that far anymore. Came up here to Sylvania, and a remarkable group of guys that I have had the pleasure of working with. And actually, I started lieutenant. When I started, I trained Jeff Walke, and then went on and trained Mike Freilich as a lieutenant. As a private, I'm doing this. I'm getting extra compensation. And Chief Ram's not here, but I trained him too. So you can either thank me or condone me. It's just a great group of guys. Sylvania Township, I'm tickled to death that the levy passed because what a phenomenal setback that would have been had that levy not passed. Best fire department in Northwest Ohio by leaps and bounds. I'm not afraid to say that. Not ashamed to say that at all. So you guys keep up the good work and be safe. You've got good leaders to keep you safe. Just don't do something stupid. And for everybody who voted yes, thank you for supporting the fire department. It's great for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Sorry. That's
Congrats.
Thank you.
Going back to our regular order now, we'll go with the zoning department. Darrell, your monthly report.
Yeah, it's always easy following Mac like that, huh? Monthly report for the month of October for zoning. Permits, we had 38 at a value of $4.5 million, a little bit under where we were a year ago. But year-to-date, we're doing pretty well still at 375 permits and just under $43 million in estimated value. On single-family dwellings, we're up to 84 year-to-date and $22,758,000 in value. And you know, this is going to happen sooner or later, that we'd be exactly the same on percentage increase in permits and dollars at 9.1% from last year. And that 84, by the way, last year, 2013, for the entire year, we had 81, so we've already surpassed last year's total, and they're still coming in. On zoning complaints, we had 9 for the month, and we're at 141 year-to-date, down from the last couple of years. Nothing really to talk about there. The monthly reports, the BZA had 2 cases. One was correcting the wording on a variance that had been approved back in July, just kind of setting the record straight on that one. And then the other one was approving a conditional use to operate a landscape business in an A4 rural residential district. That was approved with conditions. The zoning commission approved 2 zone change requests that this board approved at their last meeting, and they were each on King Road, 3204 and 2707. Project plan review, the Fairways Fuel Station on the corner of Central and Centennial. They're looking to put a gas station in and expand their current restaurant and convenience store. And then Sylvania Trails, that is the 4 duplexes, the 8 units at the corner of McCord, and the bike trail that this board had approved early this year or late last year. And then just one other thing to mention on the items of note. Most of them are just the zone change requests that you're aware of, but I just do want to do a shout out to a new business in the township. Pop Grill, it's going to be at the location where El Matador and the short-lived Blackwood Grill was, right down the street. They're in the process of getting their permits, and they should be open soon. And that's all I have.
Keep up the good work, Darrell. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell. Now, Greg, do you have anything for the trustees? And then this might be a time reading what the person wrote for the agenda, non-agenda items. You have nothing?
I do not. Laura Restivo, if you would like to come up and give your comments, and I think Mr. Huffman might be able to respond. If you would just come up and state your name and address.
Good evening, I'm Laura Restivo, and I'm the president of the Cobblestone Subdivision Homeowner Association, and we have our treasurer and Donna and Kent Reason, our vice president. So we are currently in the process of redesigning our entranceways, and we're getting estimates. Our cobblestone signs are crumbling, and also our paved cobblestone streets that enter into our subdivision are cracked and complete, well, they're in very bad shape, and one entrance is probably not even worth even trying to salvage. And so we were here tonight because we didn't know if in any way the township is able to financially replace those roads for us, or somehow split the cost of replacing the roads. I didn't know if the road entry fell into township jurisdiction and not the homeowners.
Greg, you want to address that?
Hi.
I know that the cobblestone entrance is a special effect. It was not mandated by the county engineers at the time of development. It was an option or an add-on at the expense of the developer. I'm not aware of anything off of Sylvania Metamora that is in critical shape for pavement condition-wise. But what I'd like to do is respectfully gather the concerns of anyone and be offered 30, 60 days to report back. Clearly, if you don't have asphalt ordered at the asphalt plant right now, you won't get any for the rest of the year with the major projects going on in Lucas County. It's all of those commodities have already been bought and paid for. So I guess if there's a concern, you know, for East Cobblestone entrance, that's my recommendation. I'd be glad to review it and report back to the board.
That would be great. Who was the developer on that project?
I believe it was, correct, it was one of the Brown, Butch Brown,
Okay.
Brown, I forgot. I apologize, I deal with them all the time on the log chain removals, you know, at 10 Mile Creek, with the subdivision off of Sylvania Avenue Beach.
Hey Greg, if it was an add-on expense, what's the difference? Are most subdivisions not? That was like a change order, or that was to kind of for, at the time of development, a decorative kind of, what's the difference between this and then pulling into Maple Creek? Are they all
decorative now?
Yeah, I know it is. You're right. I know it is, but I'm just saying, is that typically the developer side on when you drive into a subdivision like that, or was this a little different than most?
Okay, I'm not aware of any other subdivision that has a pavement special effects in the township.
I see. Okay. I see what you mean.
Laura, I have a question for Laura and one for you, Greg. You're saying the pavement's in bad condition. You talking about just the cobblestone entrance, or are you talking about other places in the subdivision?
Just our two entryways. The decorative cobblestone road it's cracking, and it's becoming to the point where we're going to need to either privately pay to have that road just torn up, and we didn't know if we could then just have the township just put a regular road in, a non-decorative road.
Is it, in your opinion, it's more than the decorative entrance?
Yeah, it's roadway, sir.
Okay.
The roadway itself is
And
separated.
Greg, I don't know if you have
Lawn
a
park.
ranking system or not.
I'm sorry?
Do you have a ranking pavement condition?
We have a pavement ready.
So you know the ranking of that?
Yes.
I mean, not that you know it right now, but we do.
Well, I can tell you, John, nothing up there is in critical shape. That I know. And when I say critical, I mean that pose a danger, to safety or to motorists. But I'm more than happy to review.
Yeah,
the
take a look
concern
at it.
and report back.
And then you could give us the age of it also, I would
Sure.
assume.
Probably approaching
And then is that a decorative entrance or is that a stamped? I don't remember.
I believe it's a
Stamp contrast, concrete.
So it's a stamped asphalt that was,
No, it's concrete, sir, it's concrete and it's
oh,
red.
it's concrete.
It's red, painted red.
Okay.
Hey, just for the record, so, sorry to interrupt, if you could just introduce yourself.
Sure,
It's not that I'm being rude, we need it on our tape.
My name's Kent Reason, I'm Vice President of Cobblestones.
I have a question. My name is Ken Martin. I'm also a resident of Cobblestones. When we put whatever type of street we put in, doesn't the township own that street afterward on the, because that's the way I haven't always understood it, is that you put a road in and then the city comes in and it becomes the city's property at that point.
Once a roadway is placed, let me just say, once a roadway is built to county specs,
Mhm.
okay, then it's transferred to township maintenance. Now, this portion that you referred to was not mandated by the county.
Understand.
Okay. I just want to make that clear, that it was something that the developer or your HOA granted or wished.
Did they have to request approval from the city to do that?
Not the city, but
Or
probably the
the
county
county?
engineer's office, as far as the specs and the concrete makeup and things along that line.
Okay. I was just curious who owned it. Because if I may, just for a minute.
Well,
if-
we don't own anything. We
Okay, maintain it. So if the asphalt around the corner has a bunch of chuck holes in it, and you guys would be responsible for replacing or repairing the chuck holes at that point in time?
Potholes would be filled by temporary
Okay.
coal patch or some type of patching.
And then at a later date addressed as a new road?
When a mill and resurfacing or resurfacing would occur.
Okay.
That type of thing, yes.
And this concrete, because it's concrete, does not come under that same rule? Or?
Typically, concrete lasts much longer than asphalt.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I could give you a local example. Sleepy Hollow, are you familiar with that in the city? Where it has a covered bridge. When the city replaced the covered bridge, the property owners, through assessment, paid for the covered part. That would be a similar, maybe, example.
Can I ask one further question? If Cobblestones were to remove the concrete, could you consider whether they would actually, would you guys be willing to actually put asphalt back in there if you were willing to pay for the removal of the cement, if that's an option also to consider?
Those are all options to
Okay.
consider. I am in no position right now to give a firm answer, yes or no.
We understand that.
I'm not even aware of anything critical pavement-wise up in this, that's maybe one more important.
Well, we can continue to look into it and certainly maybe gather their email addresses and contact information and just keep them informed of what you find.
Would,
Thanks for coming.
Greg,
Thank you.
would 30 days be reasonable, or what time do you think would be reasonable? I know you're busy now, a few other things.
Yeah, I did.
Let's say 60, just so we don't,
I don't think we're going to do anything until the spring
Yeah, I get it.
because of the winter, but
I can set a date.
especially with it's considering what the weather is right now in November.
Yes.
Thanks, Greg.
Rick, how's the leaf pickup going? I know I've had some emails and some voicemails that I think I forwarded today that it might not be going as smooth as it did last year, or...
Currently, the week before Thanksgiving, we have normally completed our second cycle. However, this year, we are maybe halfway or two-thirds of the way through our second cycle. It's fair to say that everything east of Holland-Sylvania Road has received the second cycle. We are working the area between Holland-Sylvania and McCord to obtain the second cycle, and so.
Okay. And this weather doesn't help anybody, so...
Correct. Today was just, it was ugly.
Yeah.
We suspended overtime today and probably tomorrow
Okay.
because of inefficiencies.
hopefully we get a break here in a week.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Greg. Back to the fire department, now we have the monthly report.
Good evening, you have October's monthly report in front of you. The first two pages, as it always is, are total runs for the month of October, and then the total responses. If you go to page 2, the rescue responses, we've seen a slight influx in our chest pains, as we would expect to see this time of year. As the weather gets colder, we'll start to see more difficulty breathers and chest pains also. Page 4 and 5 are our mutual aid incidents. I know the trustees are interested in this from whether we're getting more mutual aid than we're giving. During the month of October, we gave mutual aid 3 times to Springfield for fire runs. We received mutual aid twice from Springfield, twice from Richfield for transport units because there were none available. And we also received mutual aid from Toledo Fire Division for a gas leak that we had on Monroe Street that actually it was more of they responded them first before they realized it was in the township and called us. Page 5 is our community risk reduction public safety events. During the month of October, as you recall, last month I reported on our safety festival. October was Fire Prevention Week. We had 20 public education events. Crews did 200 fire safety inspections. We did 5 school fire drills. And then we also did Chief Frederick made some presentation to the nursing homes and rehab centers where they're required to do a fire safety education CE every year. And Chief Frederick has been taking care of those. In fact, I think he had one today at Kingston. Also 3 of them today at Kingston. We also participated in a smoke alarm giveaway through Safe Kids. What we did is sent flyers out to every trailer park that we had in our jurisdictions. We have 3 of them. We went in on the weekends and we're installing free smoke detectors for the trailers, anybody that wanted them. We have 1 more trailer park to go through and a canvas to give them the free smoke detectors again through Safe Kids. It didn't cost us anything. Chief Frederick did 2 license inspections for preschools, and he did 8 final acceptance tests for installation or upgrade of fire protection systems. Excuse me. We're back in the Lucas County Education doing our CEs. Crews went out to the tower and practiced some of their fire skills, and then, as I reported last time, the big key word this month and last month is Ebola, so we're ramping up for that. Lucas County, that CE is, we're coming up with a countywide Ebola policy, so every fire department and rescue department will be running the same protocols as far as level 1, 2, or 3 Ebola patients. And Lucas County has set a rig aside, stripped down rig aside with, for transportation of anybody that has Ebola to the hospitals, as well as our crew members will be suited up in the protective suits and respirators. The next page is our STEMI follow-up. This was a gentleman, 59-year-old male, who had cardiac disease. He was identified by our medics on scene, Brad Malk, Tyler Bellman, Craig Kapersky, Greg Wilcox, and Derek Meyer. He was transported to the hospital where he received treatment. 44 minutes was the turnaround time from the time the crews arrived on scene to the time he hit the cath lab, which is, again, phenomenal time. The next page, we have a letter from that gentleman. And if you read at the bottom, it's a husband of one of our employees here that was actually taken to the hospital, and they're both very grateful for the service. The next 2 pages were just the thank you notes from the kids. It didn't come out in print as well as we thought it was going to because they didn't write real hard, but these are just a couple thank you notes for the kids that received the bikes during our Fire Safety Week that we had. If you recall, we had 900 people attend that Fire Safety Week. And then, Jim, if you can just scroll down. These are just some pictures of the kids in the trucks having a great time with their parents. There's one with Sparky coming up. That's sort of cute. That'd be a good Christmas card, I think. And then the next one is Mike Cook. Actually, this was in the paper. Mike Cook going ahead and helping a little boy squirt the fire hose. And then the next picture is we try to educate the kids, and we dress up in our gear and go around and talk to the kids and touch so they're not afraid of us. So we want to make sure that they're comfortable with us in all of our gear, especially the way we breathe through our apparatus, because it sort of sounds like Darth Vader. And then the next one is the fire pod that we actually started on fire, and within less than 4 minutes we had it totally engulfed in flames. And then the one next to it was one with the sprinkler system, and within 30 seconds from when we started it on fire, that was put out by the sprinkler system, which again advocates people to put in residential fire sprinklers. And the last one, this is a blind child, and his dad wanted me to at least show him my gear, so I put my helmet, the picture didn't have it, I put my helmet and my mask and hood on and had him touch everything so he can realize what it would feel like in case we had to come and get him out. We also had Braille material for the blind, which his dad said that was the first time he's ever seen a fire department or anybody else consider the blind people in an event to have materials for them. So it was a pretty successful event all the way around. I have 2 letters that I'd like to share with you. One I was just given today, actually. It is from Josh Hamrick, who was one of our part-time employees that will be leaving. He enjoyed his experience with us, but he wants to pursue other fire departments in other areas where he thinks he might have a little bit more of a chance to move up within the department as an officer. And this is the one that sort of hurts the most, is Lieutenant Ralph DeShetler gave me his letter stating that Ralph's a 25-year veteran of the department. He's on Truck 64. He and I have been through a lot over my service also, but he'll be retiring effective January 3rd, 2015. It's going to be dearly lost. He's a lot of knowledge. He's a well-respected officer, and it's going to be hard to replace him, but he's going to move on to retirement and end his career. And that's all I have, unless you have something for me. Thank you.
Good work, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is the Police Department, his monthly report. Chief Lemmy.
Good evening. We have before you the monthly report for October for the Police Department. Page 2, I won't go over all the numbers. You'll see the different calls into dispatch. I will tell you, because we don't usually put that on the sheet, that was 7,933 calls into the police station for the month of October. Next page, page 3, calls for service. We did have 1,176 police calls for service. You can see we're slightly down in that category. We're running just slightly down in traffic citations. We are slightly down in property damage accidents. We're up, again, just pretty slightly in injury accidents. Burglaries are close to the same, tracking the same. Robberies, we're up a little bit, but the numbers are very small, so they're skewed easily. Domestic violences, which is pretty much not a preventable crime, for us, at least at the response level, are up considerably for some reason. Assaults, which is something very related, is about the same. Identity thefts are more than double. That's a sign of the times. We're seeing a whole lot of internet stuff. And I think we're going to put something on our website, just some more precautions to take, especially with Christmas coming, and a lot of people order online and different things like that. The OVIs were running about the same, the thefts were running down, and all other reports we are down. Page 4, prisoner transports. Actually, just go to page 5. You can see for the month of October, we did not incur any overtime in our assistance of Sylvania City PD. with their prisoner transports to and from court. Page 6, I won't go over all the numbers, but just probably the three most important. The cases assigned, or 60 cases assigned in October. They cleared 36 of them, leaving 24 still active. And then down below, you can see the totals for prior month's cases that have been closed. Page 7, it's our officer, our detective in the DEA task force. You can see in the first line under monies, property seized, they did seize a huge amount of money. And again, as you know, we do get a percentage of that. It varies with the case and the number of other officers, how many agencies are represented by those officers, as far as what percentage we get. And you can see it's about the second or third sentence down, some of the drug amounts too that have been seized and such. And just like the Blade keeps reporting, you can see that heroin is huge. I mean, they seized, almost 3 times the heroin versus marijuana. And it used to be obviously very different. So heroin is a huge issue that, again, I repeat, drives a lot of our property crime. And the fire department is really conscious of the heroin too, because they deal with it every day with their responses and such. Page 8, of note, I guess I would say the third bullet down from general. As you know, there was a bank robbery of the Fifth Third Bank on Monroe Street in Sylvania City, and that suspect was identified, the city working with the FBI, but the thing I want to mention is our joint SRT, Special Response Team. The suspect lived in the north part of the township, and they were able to obtain a warrant and go in and get him without incident. Another very professional job by them of a potentially dangerous suspect. Speed trailer, down the page a little bit. We continue to try to locate it around that Holland, Sylvania Central area. And I was gone for a week. I was really happy to see that all the curbs are finally in, and now you just have to drive down a 6-inch bump in the road or whatever to get to down on the unpaved area or the real rough stuff. So hopefully it'll warm up and they can finish that pretty quickly. Page 9, new page that I think the trustees requested. It's the overtime that we incurred for the month. We broke it down just to the 3 bargaining units. If you want any more explanation, I won't go into a whole lot of detail or what, but just due to the way we're staffed, and we've talked about this, we do have plenty of dispatchers, and I'm appreciative of that, but just the way we're staffed, we do incur quite a bit of overtime in there. Patrol, that also includes, I want to note, overtime for our FBI fugitive task force detective and for our DEA task force detective that is reimbursed. We get 100% back from the overtime that we incur. In fact, they can't take it in comp time, they have to take it in pay because we receive pay from the federal agencies as reimbursement for that. And you can see command is pretty minimal. Just to mention, page 10, we had an auction, an online auction of some abandoned and forfeited vehicles. You can see the amount, almost $3,200 that we netted from that. And that's it for the monthly report. One thing that I thought you might be interested in, it's not exactly the crime of the century, but I think it's pretty cool because this is a new business. And from what I understand, the business owner was pretty tickled, pretty thrilled that we were able to come up with some people that were vandalizing his building. It's the new, I think I'm forgetting what it's called now, but it's the new little carry-out grocery store that's going to be on the 7800 block of West Central. Just east of Centennial on the south side of the road there. Sylvania Market, thank you. Whatever. How can I not remember that? That's bad. But anyway, yeah, that's it, exactly. But I'll just read we actually wrote up the K-9 officer for an exceptional performance on this. I guess we gave Speedy a couple of milk-bone dog treats or whatever for his assistance on it. But in reading it very quickly here, it'll kind of describe what we had. On Monday, November 3rd, officers responded to 7835 Central Avenue, there it is, Sylvania Market, on a report of criminal damage to a building. Unknown suspects had spray painted graffiti on the new business and broke a window. Upon officers' arrival at the scene, boot prints were observed at the side of the building leading to the back of the store where a large amount of graffiti had been painted on the wall. Officer Charest was called to the scene with Speedy and asked about tracking the suspects through a heavily wooded area to the south of the business. The track was quickly picked up and Speedy led Officer Charest to the rear of 2954 Shetland, where several juveniles were observed entering the residence. Joined by Officer Germani and Sergeant McKinney, the residence was approached, and several spray paint cans matching the color of the graffiti were discovered on a makeshift table along with freshly painted airsoft guns. 3 male juveniles and 1 adult male were at the location and interviewed by officers. The group was advised that the K-9 had led officers to their location, and they confessed to painting the graffiti on the business and breaking the window. Kind of neat. Again, it's not exactly the crime of the century, but I think that's a good indication of why, and I've heard this several times, businesses want to be located in Sylvania Township. And that's all I have. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Go good.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is Administrator. I have nothing for the board. And then Fiscal Officer.
Have some, a month-end analysis, just briefly for October. If you note, what we have there is our revenues are all at 100% or more. The only one that we'll see a little bit of a jump will be the fire department, because we have a fourth quarter EMS contract payment coming in. And so there's a few other little bits of money coming in, but our revenues are good. We're pleased with the results, and we've got a couple more months to go. Basically, it's all in right now, because as you know, we're all based on taxes, and those taxes have been paid to it. Just a little bit coming in, so that's good. On our expense side, our expenses are looking good too, actually. If you're running an average, it'd be a little over 83%, and we're under that in each one of our departments. I think the ones to look at, particularly our, road and bridge goes up and down, as we know. It's harder to see than that. So their numbers, even if it was higher than 83, I wouldn't be worried about it, because it'll probably be hardly anything for the next 2 months. That's just how that functions. But watching police and fire are the ones to sometimes to kind of keep an eye on, and because they're more steadier coming in, and they are below that 83%. So I think that's good for us to see at the end of 10 months. And so I don't have any other questions on that. We continue to have good reports coming in on our revenue, and especially, as we say, we're always watching the expenditures. That's the stuff we really pay attention to. I do have a couple of resolutions. One is, unless you have any questions there, but the resolution is 14-121. And again, we're into this year end. As we're moving toward the year end, we have a few amounts of money that we have to move within departments, and that we're staying within our budget. We're not needing additional money, but these money we need to move from a fund to a different fund to kind of keep funds balanced, and so we can continue to write checks. And so these are small sums of money, but we do need to do this to keep the funds balanced. I would offer this resolution 14-121.
I'll offer resolution 14-121, transfer appropriations.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. John Wine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
And then the next one is Resolution dash 14-122. And here's the sale of an abandoned vehicle, and it's transferred from the general fund to the police fund. It's just a small amount of money, but again, it's kind of keeping our accounts in order. The money comes into the general fund, but then we move it over to the police fund, and that's what this is.
I'll move approval of Resolution 14-122, transfer of funds.
Second.
Mr. Randall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
And Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
And then lastly, we have, this is 14-123, and it's then a now certificate, and an invoice was received, as you see, from the resolution on August 21st, but the invoice was actually dated August 15th and 26th, and so we do need to make this payment. I'm not really sure, I can't recall, Jim, do you recall why that was, or they just came in that date, they were just slow on mailing? It's coming, maybe as it was coming from the state?
No, it wasn't a repair of the car.
To outfit the new police vehicle, the Taurus, a lot of things from the Crown Vic will not transfer over to the Taurus model.
And so we didn't get these, they're dated in August, but they just came into us now, the bill, and that, okay. Well, slow mails. Things do go up to Detroit, and that back here.
We waited forever on it.
Okay, well, anyway, we have this resolution we need to pass here.
I'll offer Resolution 14-123, approve payment of a then and now purchase certificate.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine? Yes, that's all I have.
Thanks, Dave.
Any open discussion?
Nothing, nobody signed, there was no signatures on the non-agenda item.
I would like to offer a motion to go into executive session at 6:42 to discuss personnel promotion in the road department.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
As soon as I hear the door, I'm like, okay, we're good.
I'd like to offer a motion to come out of executive session at 6:55.
Second?
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes, here.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
I'd like to offer Resolution 14-124, authorize promotion of Robert Nash to Road Service Superintendent. Whereas Greg Huffman, Public Works Manager, will be retiring effective January 31st, 2015, and whereas it is the board's desire to replace Greg in the capacity of Roads and Service Superintendent, therefore be it resolved by the trustees of Sylvania Township, Lucas County, Ohio, that Robert Nash be offered the position of Road Service Superintendent effective February 1st, 2015, at the rate of $70,000 per year.
I'll move approval.
Second?
Well, who seconded?
Oh, did you offer it, John?
I offered the motion,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry,
then
I'm sorry, I didn't.
maybe John will be the second, or...
John seconded it, okay. Sorry, wrote it down.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
I'd like to offer a motion to adjourn at 6:56.
Second?
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.